Good afternoon, lovely flower people out there. This afternoon, we have a chat with Ishrat Joosub from Outlandish Events, which we were waiting for a long time to come already. So that's why we are very happy that she has time for us this afternoon. So welcome, Ishrat. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be able to finally chat with you ladies.
Yes. And first of all, I think my first question is like, actually, before I ask you like how you got into wedding planning, what is your definition of an outlandish event? Like, where does the name come from? Like, what is the name's vision? Like, what is the name Outlandish Event stand for?
I'm glad you actually asked because I've never actually, told a story about it. So basically, I think when I was starting out in the business, I was focusing on small parties, but I also knew that I wanted to do something different and not the usual events that you get. I knew I wanted it to be luxurious, whether it's a kids' party or baby shower or a wedding. I wanted it to be luxurious and lavish and over the top. So that was my aim, and outlandish just kind of, tied all this together. And then the other reason I chose the name was because my name is Ishrat. So outlandish, it ended with an ish. Everybody calls me Ish, actually. So I thought to myself, because I want to give such a good service to my clients, that I'm prepared to put my name into the branding, to actually sort of tie the business and my name together to show how seriously I take, customer service and personalization, just to give the client my time and attention, basically.
Okay. Very, very special, actually. A very, very interesting approach to the name.
Thank you.
And tell us now a little bit more about Irshad and how she got into wedding planning. Like, I mean, out of all the jobs that you could maybe do, like, what is the attraction, or what was the attraction to planning weddings? Tell us a little bit more about the story. Was that always a dream? Like, or how did you get into wedding planning?
Okay, so it's actually a long story.
Yes.
And I think if I go way back, if I go way back to when I was in Matric, I think when I did, the career assessment test or something like that, to see which field you should be going into and things like that. And one of the options that came up for me was wedding planning and events. And I thought to myself at that time, I don't know. And that was it. And then I proceeded into going to study graphic designing because I was very creative, still creative in terms of arts, printing and things like that. And from there, I didn't finish my studies because financially it wasn't possible for me to, carry on. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, I also met my husband, and I was about 18, 19 at the time. So I was studying graphic designing. Then we decided to get married. As you know, in the Muslim culture, it's different. So, our parents don't like us dating and things like that.
Yes.
So we decided to get married. And everybody was like, wow, married at 19, what are you guys doing? We thought we were crazy, but that's what, we were sure that this is what we want to do. We're still married. It's 14 years later. So, that was a good decision.
But almost, and I was 19, so no problem. That is, you have a long journey ahead.
Oh, wow. Yes, it's not often you meet people that get married at 19, and if you tell your story, people think you are crazy, they ask, are you still married? So yeah, so it's like, it's something different. Yes. And so from there, we got married. I was carried on studying graphic designing, and eventually, I wanted to do more than that. I wanted to start working and make a living and things. And I decided to quit that. Also on the financial side of it, I couldn't carry on studying anymore. So then I started looking for a job, and I couldn't get a job in a graphic designing position because of the experience and the fact that I didn't complete my studies. Mm-hmm. So then somebody approached me, say there's a position available, in sales for a company that was actually just down the road from where I live. So I thought, let's just give it a try and see how it goes. So the company itself were doing call centers for various blue chip companies like MTN and things like that. And I started as a sales agent. From there, I got very bored because it was not what I wanted to do. And although I was the top salesperson in the department, so basically from there I started doing posters and graphic designing in the call centers. So that got me noticed in the head office. So then they were like, who's this person, doing designing, and it's quite good designing actually. So from there on, they gave me a promotion. So from the promotion, I was like over the moon because like it was something. Just for me at that point, it was like a dream job being promoted to a graphic designing position. Mm-hmm. So I went on there, and it was very tough. I remember being the youngest person in the head office. I think I must have been about 20 or 21. And so I think I had a lot of people on my back wanting things from me, and I was given the position. Although it was graphic designing, I was doing a role of a whole lot of other things. I think because being young in the corporate world, everybody just piled their jobs on me, took quite full advantage of that. But when I look back now, these were the things that built me to run my own business.
Yeah.
From there on, I went into public relations. I got promoted, public relations marketing and events. And so I just grew from there. Eventually, I fell pregnant with my daughter. So I wasn't happy to be working and, leaving her at home and with a nanny and things like that. So we eventually looked into me leaving work. So we did that. We downscaled to one income. We left work. I left work. And then from there, I'm just trying to recall, I was bored at home. So, it was like, it was a baby, it was me, and that's it, feeding, changing nappies. And that was just not, I love my children, but I just needed something more, I thought this can't be a life.
A bigger challenge.
Changing diapers. Yeah, I need a challenge. I can't be sitting like this the whole day, Yeah. So then, from there, I think my daughter turned 1 by then, and I did her first birthday party. It was a Mad Hatter's tea party. I remember having so much fun. Yeah, having so much fun planning it, going on Pinterest, looking for ideas and putting the whole concept together. And from there on, people were like, my family, my friends were like, you know what, this is actually such a good a party. Like, like you're really good at this. Why don't you do it for a living? So I'm like, no way, I'm not working on weekends. That's the first thing I thought of. I thought, no way, family time is very important to me. I'm not working on weekends. No way, that's not happening. So then eventually my husband's like, don't you want to think about it? So I thought, okay, let's see, And my husband told me, whatever finances I needed to start a business, he will, find me fully support me for that. Then eventually I thought I had to change my mindset into thinking that, I want to fire. If I go ahead with this business idea and I do work on weekends, I'll be actually having a 5-day week, a weekend, and a 2-day week. So I had to change my mindset to be able to go into this industry. Yes. So, although that got me going there, eventually I was working 24/7, so it didn't matter. So I realized, by then that I had a passion for it. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I loved every minute of it, the adrenaline, the rush, the excitement, the stress, everything that comes with the industry. I enjoyed every minute of it. So that's how I started with Outlandish Events.
Okay, and that was now how many, like how many years back? Your daughter is now how old?
My daughter is now 8 years old.
Okay, so that was about years.
So
7 years ago.
7 years, yeah. And during that 7 years, 8 years, my daughter was about 15 months old and I had my son. So that was challenging because it was like having twins. So it was hectic. I was trying to manage a business, managing my kid, being a mom and a wife and everything. And at one point, I think my kids pulled my laptop off its cord and it crashed completely. And we just left it at that. And we didn't do nothing. I thought to myself, they need my attention, so let's just leave the laptop, leave the work for a while. and then see what happens. And then, yeah, from there on, everything just turned around, and we realized, this is the way to go. Like, the more parties I was doing, the more passionate I was getting about it, the more excited, especially like, besides weddings, I was doing events, all types of baby showers, bridal showers, kids parties, 40th birthday parties. So all of that, was so much excitement and so much passion in creating the whole concept of the event that, I never looked back again.
That's amazing, actually. So congratulations.
Congratulations.
And I can see you have a huge followership. So there's lots of people that love your work and that follow you for a reason. Tell me, we've just briefly spoken about this, but it just ties in right now in the subject. You obviously, like you can see already, you are a proud Muslima, which I'm very happy about, also to showcase different cultural backgrounds on our Piece of the Puzzle series. So, and obviously I personally also have a very strong connection to the Middle East. So I really value also the religion and the cultural backgrounds. Tell us a little bit more, if at all, like this your cultural background has influenced the weddings or the events that you are doing, or whether it is something that you keep completely separated from each other.
Yes, so basically with the industry itself, weddings and events, and our religion, I keep it completely separate. So I'm quite lucky that my clientele isn't only Muslim people. I've got a vast clientele even from Dubai and Kuwait, and that do come to South Africa and have their functions here. So from Africans to whites to any English people, anybody basically, even Asian people. So we're quite lucky that I think people see past my religion, past my scarf, and to see that our service is speaks for itself basically. So yeah, we do Muslim weddings. We do not so much because, like I said, like earlier, we more into Western weddings, African weddings, traditional weddings. But in terms of Muslim weddings, I think, as you know, I'm sure from the Middle East, and that is a week-long affair. This side, and also they go all out, all lavish, and it's all about families and I think food. I think it revolves around food all the time. So yeah, I think, yeah.
I like how you say it. It's a week-long affair. I think this is really, it's nicely described.
Yes, it's like more
yes, yeah, it's a lot of fun, but
yes, but for the people, maybe not for the organizer, which is a lot of stress.
yeah. But no, we're currently also planning a 4-day wedding. Sorry, we're currently planning a 4-day wedding for somebody from overseas. So yeah, I mean, like the wedding is only next year, but I mean, from now on, it's been such a challenge planning it in South Africa because, as you know, venues are all closed, suppliers are all closed. So to get a costing together, to do a venue inspection and things like that, it's been a nightmare at the moment.
Yeah.
Just like maybe one final question to the cultural aspect. Like, do you see, when you see now also like as a straight comparison, Western weddings and Muslim weddings here in South Africa, not in the Middle East, like what is the main difference apart from maybe like the lengths of like how long they celebrate, or with the number of guests that they celebrate? But is there a distinct difference in style here in South Africa?
In style itself, I think it's very similar to a Western wedding. It's just the way it's done. Like in the bride and groom, for example, at a Western wedding, you'd have them at the chapel, changing their vows, exchanging their vows, and things like that. Whereas for a Muslim wedding, you would have us, the men only at the mosque, and the brides at home with the women, and that's how they do the vows. So they're actually completely separate.
Yes.
And after that, it would be a reception where usually hosted by the girl's family after the ceremony. And then after that, they would have the next day or a couple of days later, you would have another reception that's hosted by the boy's family, which is considered religious and traditional in the sense of that, we believe we do everything that our prophet used to do, and that is something that he used to do after he got married, that the boy's family should feed, the girl's family, and should, feed the poor also in the community. So that is something very, very important in the Muslim way, that this has to be done, during those festivities.
Okay.
I want to come back to one point actually where we got to know a little bit closer to each other, which was not that long ago, in lockdown, when I received a message from you that you have initiated a petition for the event industry. Tell us maybe, how do you got to this idea? I mean, we also have created a petition at that time when we couldn't get flowers, so to actually require the need for having flowers in our country for people, not only for the trade but for the pleasure and the health of the people. But having no events, and as far as we know now, we will not have events for the next couple of months. Like, how this all started in your mind, and why you like initiated this petition?
So basically, I remember coming across your petition about the flowers, and I signed that. And I thought, oh, I hope we have some luck there, buying flowers, and I hope this makes a difference somehow, And you guys did amazing. I must be honest, you guys did a great job, getting the flowers, to be sold again.
Thank you.
So basically, so from there, then eventually, things just was looking so bad for us. The whole event industry, we're hearing all the stories about the companies closing down, our own suppliers closing down, and it just got to a point where it was too much. We were sitting at home, from being like somebody that's busy 24/7. We got no time to just sit down and take a break or do anything. Because we've been so busy 24/7, around the clock. It's just work, and we came to a standstill where we didn't know what to do. Like, we just had nothing to do. Me and my husband were looking at each other. We were like, okay, now what? Is this what it's going to be like now? So yeah, and the major factor was that there was no income coming in. That was the scariest part of this all. And I think what also drove my drive, where I had the whole thing about starting the whole petition, was that seeing other people not respecting the regulations. So we thought to ourselves, we respecting the regulations, we respecting the lockdown, and we can have events, on a minimal, capacity, with all the social distancing rules, regulations, all of that in place, sanitizing, whatever it takes. We can still do events. We are more responsible than people, going to the mall, being in a crowd of 100 people at the mall, shopping, touching all the things, and having an event of 30 people or 50 people, whatever it is, it's in a controlled area. So that was the whole reason to start the petition, was to give us, to ask the government to give us some leeway, because not everybody in the industry was receiving funding, and that was also worrying. And so we thought, what do we do? How do we survive this? And yeah, that's how the petition came about. And I don't know if our voices were loud enough, but we got quite a bit of signatures, but that's as far as it went from our side. And then we decided, we need to change our whole business setup. We need to, do some maybe home celebrations, drive-through baby showers. Also now learning from the international, trends that was happening during lockdown. So we started with that, and that was quite positive. From what we saw with people, not having events, we realized that people crave that's being social with each other. People crave other people's company. It's something natural. You can't stop that from happening, no matter what. So that's why eventually, people were very careful, and we were having events at home. Maybe since I think level 3 lockdown, we started having home celebrations, drive-through baby showers, Zoom parties. Kids were missing out on their birthdays, and they weren't too happy about that. So we came up with the Zoom party ideas. So we had a few of that where we did like a backdrop. Uh, if the guests joined by a Zoom, we dropped off cupcakes or goodies, at the guest houses and that. And it turned out quite
Wow.
nice. It was quite memorable for the child, for the parents. Everybody actually had fun. They felt part of it, even though they were apart. They felt part of the whole party. It's not
Yeah.
something I would recommend, to be honest. I feel like an event has to be social. You have to be in the same room as people. But at this stage, I think with all the precautions in place, I'm sure we can have events.
Yeah, we have to overcome this time by having creative ideas, I think, and we don't have to make some plans maybe uh, as a like plan for the future, but for now I think we have to get like very like different plans and creativity. And I still find it weird
Yeah.
when I meet people that I know very well, and just not to hug them and not to come closer to them, like
Mm,
just like when
that's
you meet
beautiful.
someone like by accident, or when some of our ladies come to pick up something from the office, and we used to hug them actually, like we have a very close relationship. So it's very weird that like we have to be 2 meters away and just say hello. it
From a
it, it,
distance,
it feels
yeah.
very like I don't
Wrong.
know,
It feels
very wrong.
wrong,
Yeah,
yeah.
it feels very, very wrong to me. I feel like there's
Yes,
something really not right.
yes.
But yeah, we have to do that, and even sometimes when you see that people are sad, I mean, like we had an experience. We know that someone had a very bad like message, and we went there and we dropped flowers, and we could see that this person was very sad, and I felt like it is so unreal that I could not hug her and could not actually express my feelings and share like the moment, what it was. I couldn't sleep for the half of the night because that went through my mind so much, that was so unnormal to me.
Yes. Yeah, I've
But
also felt the same way as well. We've seen people after, like, since lockdown started, we haven't seen a lot of people in our lives, and then eventually we got to, well, some suppliers that we saw at one event that we did last week, and it was sad that, like we said, we have a good relationship with them, and
Mm-hmm.
we always friendly and laughing and joking at our events, and it came to a point where we just had to stay away from each other
Yeah.
and just say hello and bye, no hugs, nothing. So yeah, that's very sad, especially when somebody passes away, or you know
Yeah.
I mean, it's really, really sad. I think it's taken such a toll on, like, emotionally on people. Like, I don't think
Yeah.
anything in the world could have happened to make us realize that, it can be so bad not to have human interaction, or, hugs. I mean, something that we've overlooked, all our lives, and now it's become
Yeah.
such an
yes.
important thing.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah, we,
Mm.
we we learn to appreciate the little things again in life.
Mm. Exactly that.
How
Yeah.
do you like
Sometimes, I
when
think,
sorry, just a little bit
sorry,
delayed,
you
sorry.
carry on.
No, I just wanted to like ask you, like, when you like, just also in terms of the industry, and I know I have seen also some other people's initiatives, how do you see like the industry as a whole, or maybe what need to be changed in terms of a wedding planning lobby or an events planning lobby? Do you see that there's a need of like somebody that people can actually turn to? Because like I feel when you came up with this petition, as many of us, for example, the same like for our industry right now for the flowers, but most definitely also for the wedding industry, we felt a little bit um, lost in the sense that we didn't know who to turn to get questions answered, in the sense of like, okay, like tell us please, like, when can we expect weddings, or under which conditions can we expect to maybe execute weddings, at what point? maybe, okay, let's get together like in a panel discussion to discuss like what can be like done in order to safeguard our clients when it's possible to have weddings again, like maybe even including like medical personnel, including like venues, service provider from different fields, like or what is your thought right now? Like, do you think like with this petition, like you have achieved what you can, or like who are you sending this petition to? Like, what is the body where you say right now for the wedding industry, this is where people can actually like get information from? Or do you say completely there is something missing here, that we just figured out that there is no one who speaks on our behalf, there's maybe no one who takes initiative to say, you know what, like we may be all sitting in the boat, in the same boat, but there's no leader or no like industry, industry body, I can just call it like that, that is actually taking initiative, talking to governments.
I mean, we sorry, just like to add this, we last night when the president was speaking after the speech, the reporters actually did an interview with a lady from the Association for Restaurants. I mean, and I said to Alfie, look, the restaurants, they have an association. We actually, what is it like where we can like get information? She said she is in touch with the government. She gets new legislation today and so on, and she passed this on to the like to the members. But this is from my perspective something that we would need. Or
we would need. No, I definitely agree with you. Yes, I think that was the scary part while this whole lockdown was happening, was that we didn't have anybody to represent us. So that's also where my initiative came in. I thought, if the petition could get everybody together on the same page and we all fight for the same purpose, So from what I've seen, it is quite scary. Like you said, with the Association of Restaurants, that came up, and I thought the exact same thing. Who do we turn to, and there isn't that in the industry. I don't know if because our industry is so competitive, I don't know if that's one of the reasons, but I think it's about time that we have something of that sort that can represent us to government. I think, I don't know, it was very shocking and scary to see that every industry had somebody, had a voice, basically, and we didn't have that voice. Still don't have that voice. After yesterday's announcement.
Yeah. Do you think
so that's
you
in terms of
take a lead on it to get with other people together to do something like that, or do you think no, it's not my duty?
No, I think because I'm so passionate about what I do in the industry as a whole, I wouldn't mind taking a lead on that. I just don't know if people are going to be happy about what I have to say, So I'm a person that stands up for what you believe.
That is not the question if people are happy. It is the question what the outcome is.
Yes, I think, because I stand for what I believe in.
Sorry.
Yes.
No, I just think if you advocate for information, by the end of the day, what is it that people need? People need someone to communicate to. And I think this is the biggest issue in our situation as well, because I feel for like now, not talking about the flowers, but it is the same. It's a very similar thing. I feel like that the wedding industry is sort of a little bit like a forgotten industry. I mean, we will be the last industry that will be like able to work again, because obviously our business is essentially tied in with people gathering and with people meeting each other, and also with people not keeping a distance of 1.5 to 2 meters when they're dancing on the dance floor, or when they're kissing the bride, or when they're sitting next to each other like at church or whatsoever. This is not the concept of like our ideal event, or even of an event that we can maybe even propose to someone, because I do not believe that as long as this is a legislative requirement that people want to come with masks to a wedding, or even wear a mask on the wedding, during a wedding, and only take it off for having maybe meals or something like this. So this is not something that we like can deal with right now. We need to have the freedom to actually say, okay, fine, we will do everything in our power to provide a certain safe and healthy protocol. But what also like what how can that look like? You know, this is also something that needs to be maybe like even established, like in such a lobby or in such a
but look,
legislation.
but I think like if churches would not have spoken to the government as a power of the churches, people would not be able actually to go back to church under certain circumstances. And I mean, I remember the overlast speech of the president was saying we cannot confirm that people can go to church, but a week later he was like talking to us and saying, after spoken to several like bodies, representatives of the different churches, we have decided to. And I think exactly this is what it is. People have to like get, or businesses have to get a lobby, industries have to get a lobby, like as churches or as the wine and alcohol industry. I'm 100% sure that they have like spoken and have put everything what is in their power in the way to open the market for, like, if it's good or bad is another discussion, but I think it did work out, you know.
Yes, I agree. So that's why I also strongly feel that we need to have a voice. We need to have somebody to represent us, or some sort of, maybe we should all just come together and create an organization and be the voice, because I don't see any difference in our industry if there's no voice that's going to government. You know, I mean, the petition can be signed and all of that, but I mean, there's nobody to take that petition further that's in our industry. So I'm not sure like how we would, go about to do something like that, to start like, something to bring the people together and say, listen, yeah, this is our voice. So I have no idea how to do it, but there must be a way of doing it. And like I say, if we don't have that voice, I don't see us going back to work anytime soon. I don't see any events
I
being
have to faith
celebrated.
in you that you can do that. I think whatever I have heard about you, you are a very strong like young woman, and I think you can find a way when you cooperate with people within the industry, and I mean like form an alliance and create something that represents the industry. And I mean like we would be happy to support ideas like that, but it needs to come from the industry, within the industry itself. Otherwise it will not work. People also will not like support it when something from outside is coming. I think somebody that is taking the initiative has to know about the inside of the event industry.
Yes, and I mean, there's so many businesses that's currently suffering. I mean, it's one thing celebrating an event, and from the client's perspective, it's another thing from the suppliers, because some people got no food on the table. Some businesses have been closed. So, we have to take all of that into consideration, before we say, no, you can't have any social gatherings at all. We have to take all that. I mean, like we say, whether it's good or bad, a bad thing, that's another story. There's another way of, combating that. But I think at this point, it's quite important to get our voices heard, and I'll look into it. I'll see, what we can do from our side, take it further, because I know my petition just stopped where it was at, and I didn't do it. I didn't know what else to do about it. I mean, I tried. I've emailed. I've tweeted. I've shared my feelings on my stories, my platforms, and I didn't know what else to do. I was at a dead end, So I thought to myself, eventually, you know what? I'm just going to leave this in God's hands. He knows best. He's got control of everything, and that's it. So that's I kind of came to peace with the whole situation. But now the way it's looking again, like after last night's announcement, I'm thinking, gosh, when are we going to get back at work? So yeah, we definitely need to come together and do something about it.
In times of kingdoms, the people actually used to ask for an audience with the king. Maybe you should ask for an audience at the king.
Yeah, I mean, by
Yeah,
the
not
end
a
of the
bad
day, it
idea.
starts with government. Like that, we cannot. I mean, there is just, and I mean, by the end of the day, also, I'm not sure how many destination weddings you do, but there are so many elements also in terms of like our part of like the GDP, like how much money we actually bring into the country as
Yes.
such, and how much money we actually make within the country as an industry. And it is quite
Yeah,
a huge part of the like overall industry, because in one side we belong to tourism when we are taking like destination weddings into consideration. At the other hand, obviously we are very like tied to the hospitality industry, like hotels, venues, restaurants, and the like. So I mean, there is like obviously a huge relationship that we have like in part with those different industry that might even have a voice already, but that we just maybe need to accelerate and say, you know what, there is more than just all those individual parts, but we combine so many under our industry. And it takes time. Obviously it takes time still, but I think like right now people do have the time. But I hope that there will be people that are coming together from within the industry that say, you know what, we really want to do something good for the industry, not just for us, but for everyone who is in it.
yeah,
Everyone always says, you know, we are all in the same boat, but sometimes we need a captain. And it is the same as for a country. We are all the same, but we need a president. We need someone to talk to, someone who represents us and our feelings
Yeah.
and our concerns
yeah,
towards others. And this is it. And whether it's just one person or whether it's two, three, four, five, I do believe that this is important, and we have it in the same way for the flowers. And there is a lady also right now, and she is busy like really working on something that is very good for the
Maybe
entire.
it's an idea to bring the two of you together and to share like experiences, and maybe to partner up in a certain way. I mean,
Yes.
like, why not? There's nothing wrong with that. I think working together is also not only for like particular events, also for the industry itself.
the industry as a whole, I definitely think, like I say, one of the reasons, I think there is no voice right now in our industry is because there's so many competition between all of us. I mean, it's just a natural thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's just a natural thing to have in business. I think that's what's keeping the whole industry divided. And I think if we can overcome that challenge, and there's no better time to overcome that challenge than now. This is the time for us to
Yeah.
truly come together. So I think if we can do that, we might get back to work soon.
You are so right, actually, and it's very important that you mentioned this. And I mean, obviously, we are not South Africans, but we live here for many years. And being in the industry, seeing the industry, like also not only from the inside perspective, but also maybe from a kind of an outside like view, we see like personally we say like we do not have competitors, we have only colleagues. And I think it is the way how you look at people. A competitor, for me, this means already like this is like an enemy, like the way how it is explained in here, particularly in here. We are all in this industry, we have all our own part. The industry is so big, there's so many clients, they have so many different
Exactly.
ideas what they want, so many different budgets what they can spend, so many different areas where they want us to go or whatever. There's space for everyone, there's space for everybody. And
That's
I think
exactly.
we just have to focus on who we are and what we want to achieve. I just talked this morning with someone and said, you know what, when you have time to look too much to what your so-called competitor is doing, then you are not busy enough, because you have to focus on the time that you have to focus on your own business and not to look what others are doing. I
Yeah,
mean, like, you can learn from other people,
definitely.
this is what it is, but I think you should not watch them to harm them in a certain way. I think this is my message, hopefully, for our industry.
Yeah.
And a lot of young entrepreneurs will hopefully work the way how we think
Mm.
we should all work.
No, I agree completely with you. With us from Outlandish Events, we always supporting other people. We have lots of new event planners in the industry that comes to us, for they want us to mentor them. They want opportunity to shadow us, and they want to basically learn from us and things like that. And we try to support that, from whichever way we can.
Mm-hmm.
We don't usually go for a full mentorship and things like that. It's just like our business model doesn't accommodate for that. But I mean, in terms of advice and guidance and things like that, we're always happy and we're always open to help, other event planners or wedding planners or any supplier in the industry, because like you say, it's a piece of the puzzle. It takes so many people to make one event successful.
Yes,
One
that
person
is
can't
true.
always say, no, it's all my doing. That's not what it is. I mean, from flowers to balloons to lighting, dance floor, cake, whatever it is, it's a whole team of people that comes together to make an event successful. And we have to acknowledge that and see that. And like you say, I mean, if you're busy focusing on somebody else's work, then I think you've got a lot to worry about. You should be learning from other people and
Yeah,
improving yourself.
Yes.
that's true.
Can I maybe go back to to your love and your passion for what you're doing? What is your most favorite part
Yeah.
of wedding planning? Like, what is it when you sit down and you have maybe a couple in front of you? Like, what is it where you say, wow, this is really my most favorite part? This is like the most rewarding part for me, why I do this.
I think for me, that satisfaction, comes in after the event, to see that um, the joy and happiness you've brought to a couple, that is, we've had so many people that, walk in and cry, at the setup that we've done. So for me, that's what, drives me, because I know, like, I put so much effort and passion into my work that I know that the outcome, as stressful as it is, but I know that the outcome will be perfect, and to see my client, tear up at their weddings and events, I think that is what gives me so much joy and happiness. This is why I do it, and also, like, I must mention, like, we do weddings and then we do also other events. So in terms of baby showers and things like that we do,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
people always ask me, like, why do people, spend so much money on a baby shower, or a 40th birthday party? Why do you guys go so lavish? And there's always a story behind it. Like, for example, a baby shower, the couple maybe couldn't have children for years, and and they could finally have a child, and now they want to
Yeah,
celebrate that. Even for our first birthday party, we go all lavish and all out with, they couldn't have children for years, and now they finally have this miracle in front of them. Why not celebrate that in every way that you can? Also, for 40th birthday parties, we've got, like, couples that couldn't have their dream weddings, for example. So then when they turn 40, they decide whatever they couldn't do then, they want to do it now. So, like, it's all that. It's like, there's always a special meaning attached to the story, to the couple's story, to a person's story. I think that is what give what I do so much more meaning, is that there's always a story, a special story.
Yeah.
yeah, and I think also, like, I'm always laughing a little bit when people say, yeah, but why must I, for example, with flowers, why must I spend so much money on that one day for only flowers for one day? I mean, like, the food that you eat is eaten in maybe half an hour or even an hour. The dress that you buy, you maybe hopefully you will never wear again. For, like, there's so many things that you do only one time for that
Yeah,
wedding. And this is because of one reason,
exactly.
because you want to create memories for lifetime. This is what it is, and not for one day. You create something for the entire rest of your life as a couple or as a family. And
Yes,
I think people should look
yeah,
at that point. And obviously everyone has different budgets, has different like availabilities, but like, if they want to spend the money for flowers or for food, for live music, for firework, or I don't know, like, let it spend them. This is not our decision
yeah.
to make for them.
Yes, exactly that. And also like, when you think of spending a lot of money on flowers and things like that, the importance of it, the smell of the flowers, for example, that takes, it could be 10 years later down the line, you smell the flower, you see that flower, it takes you back to your special day. And like, it's really, it can be emotional. I mean, like, it's creating memories of a lifetime. These are the things that, we have to do to, I don't know, enjoy, our hard work. And later on in life, especially like I always say to my clients, make sure that you spend, if you're going to spend money, make sure you spend money on a professional photographer, a professional videographer.
Yes,
There's
Yes.
no point spending so much money creating a function and you've covered on the photos or the videos. I mean, that could be the worst decision a person can make, because when you're looking at the
yeah,
photo, it's not the right colors, they haven't captured the right angles, they haven't captured the important details. So for me,
Yes.
like, that is an emphasis that I put on all my clients, that we need to get you, if you're going to spend money, make sure that you've got a professional photographer to capture all the details.
Yes. 110%.
100% agree.
Yeah.
110%. Yeah, agree with that. No,
Yes,
no, that's
unfortunately, like I always say, like, if you want to like cut on any end, but don't cut on the end that like will show you in 5, 10, 50, 20 years from now where you actually spent your money, because like this is unfortunately, yeah, the wrong end. And also when I hear, and there's not a lot of people who have friends as professional photographers. When I hear, oh, I have a friend who is a photographer and he will do the job, I'm very careful always, and I always like ask for references, because it's gone wrong a couple of times. Like I mean, we can only recommend, like that this is our job. Our job is to recommend the best fit to a client, whether it is for a birthday party, for an anniversary, for a wedding, whatever. But some people just think that their friend is the best fit for what they do, maybe because they do not charge, or maybe they charge just like really a minimal amount, but is not always, I mean, the best way to go with someone who charges the least, even if it is from your own circle of friends.
and also we actually have like almost like a rule: never let your guest work on your wedding. Either they are a guest or they work. That is actually, but also
Yes,
coming,
yeah, that's a concept.
yeah,
Yeah.
but one more point to the flowers. Like, I don't know how you do that, but like a lot of like our couples, they like either take the flowers home or their guests take flowers home. So that is not only for that one day actually, so it will like live
Yes.
again for the next couple of days, even sometimes weeks. Or when we have destination weddings, then we offer the couples that we take the flowers back and we rearrange them for an old age home that we have nearby, or we have it maybe when it's a destination wedding, we have old age homes maybe in Cape Town area or wherever we are, so that at least
Yes.
other people can still enjoy the flowers.
Yes. And it's such a luxury. Like, you should feel so lucky to be able to afford that luxury, that you can still, like you said, make other people happy even after the day has passed. We also do the exact same thing as well. Like, we also take the flowers to like an orphanage or a hospital. Usually, our clients also like, are all for that. So, like, either they recommend it to us or we suggest it to them. Also, yeah, the guests take the flowers home sometimes, or they give it to their families. So, but yeah, the old age home and the hospitals, that's one thing, definitely. The smiles that you see on these people's faces, I think that you can remember for the rest of your life.
I have a final question for you. Like, what is your dream for your company for the future? Maybe after half a year, we cut like from now to the year end, we just cut off from 2021 in the next future. What is your dream for your company? Where do you want to see yourself maybe in 5, 10 years?
Sure, that's I'm laughing because again, it's something I pray for all the time. I mean, yeah, like 5 years, 10 years time, I hope to be one of the best and top wedding and events planner in the world. I know I dream big, but I hope to be recognized as one of the best and top event planner and wedding planner in the world. Basically, that's my goal. And also in terms of the company as it is, we hoping to, like, we to expand. Like so far, when we started the company, it was just events, and now we do gifting, we do take-home hiring. Like, it's expanded itself. So like, I'm hoping to go further into that and do different things under one umbrella. Yeah, but my
Wonderful.
main vision, 5 years to 10 years time, yeah, I hope to be recognized as one of the best and top wedding and event planner in the world.
Wonderful. So, I mean, we're gonna have a date in 5 years' time,
Yeah.
and see how you are doing. And
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I mean, it's great to see your vision, and it's great that you have this inspiration. And I hope a lot of people are taking, specifically also in the time that we are in right now, this as a positive energy, and to see that there is maybe light at the end of the tunnel, that you just need to really believe in the things that you are doing, and that you need to believe in yourself and the strengths that you have to overcome also such a time, to come out at the other end even stronger than you have left it maybe before. Because also, and this is true, those times right now show us very well like what strengths we have, but maybe also which weaknesses we had, which we never realized before. Now we have the time to brush up on all of those things, because we do have time on our hands, so that when next year and the time to come, there is like busy times again, we are in a way much more prepared, and maybe much more prepared also to overcome another COVID. It may not be another COVID. It may be called completely different, or it may be called like whatever it is. But
A
just,
crisis.
yeah, another crisis that we are like prepared for, like not only like financially, but also mentally, because I do believe that this has hit a lot of companies, like mentally, like people wise, like really on a very personal level, that they have never ever expected. So I'm very happy to hear that you have such great vision for your company and for your business, and I wish you all the very best. And yeah, stay safe, keep well, and if you need us in terms of helping maybe to yeah, speak to the industry from a different angle, I think we are happy to do that. This is the platform that we want to give to people to also reach out. If someone who listens in here is maybe interested in getting in touch with you, please do so through your page directly. Just tell people how they can reach you, like, or your company, if they are interested in events or weddings. How
Baby
can they find
showers,
you?
whatever.
Baby shower, like whatever you do. How can they find you?
So basically, I am very active on Instagram. I think you can see all my latest work on Instagram. We also got a blog that we send out almost every week. Well, now it's been every week, seeing that we don't have time to do. We've got a lot of time on our hands, so it's been a blog that we've been sending out every week. So showing all the events we've done all over the years. On a normal circumstance, we couldn't stick to a schedule of once a week. It was like once in 3 months. So yeah, people can go to our website and see all the beautiful work that we do there. But Instagram is the best way. Email, I'm always a phone call away. All my clients have the freedom to WhatsApp me anytime. I know I'm bad in terms of balancing my personal life and my work life, but my clients are welcome to WhatsApp us anytime to discuss any events, consultation, whatever it is that they need. Yeah, we're always available.
Perfect.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much.
It was a really
Thank you so
inspirational
much for
chat
having
with
me.
you.
I hope
Thank
so.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Yes.
hope so. Yeah, especially if you want me to be the voice of the
Yeah, of
family.
course.
Yeah, so we'll
This
look
is
into that.
the very
Yeah.
interesting part of our chats. A lot of people asking us,
Yeah.
can you send me questions before? No, we do not, because we never know where a
The
chat,
conversation is
where the
going. Yeah.
conversation is going, because we have here the last couple of like 2
Yeah.
months, so many different stories, and one like chat like followed the other one, and one idea led to the other one. And just right now, I mean, I had not the intention to really like talk to you about a lot of things like what we talked. It went from one point to the other one very naturally, you know. And I think that is what it really
Exactly.
is. And I thank you so much. I really hope that you will be one of our like go girls, in a very in very positive way, and don't
Thank
stop
you.
dreaming big.
Ah, thank you. Yes, yeah, I always say that, a positive mindset. I think that's what it's also about. And I also tell, a lot of people that comes to me for business advice, I say to them, you know what? It's your mindset. If you want to get anywhere,
Yeah.
you need to change your mindset and make sure that there's all positive that's going through your mind. Aim as big as you can, and something will happen. What you put out there is what you're going to get back.
Exactly. This is right. And you have manifested it right here. We have it on camera. From 5 to 10 years from now, we're going to check back in with you. Thank you so much.
Thank
Ishrat,
you.
take
Definitely.
care and all the
Thank you
very
so
best.
Thank you.
much.
Bye
Bye
Thank
bye.
bye.
you. Bye.